This video is going to be titled The Hyper Love Effect Virus Explained. The Hyper Love Effect Virus. Love effect. Hyper love. Hyper love. When I say effect, I mean affect though, with an A in it, not effect. The words are pronounced the same. What's the difference between an affect and an effect? An affect is with the A in it, labels and describes how to move someone. They still apply effect, so to speak, meaning an action. You follow me? But the difference between them is affect with an A spelled is internal works. An effect with an E spelled is external worked. A is internal, E is external. Effect. The effect has more impact on the physical, and the affect has more impact on the internal. They both hit the same areas and drive you into doing certain things, depending on what is drilling in to drive you, so to speak. But the ultimate base reality of it is, or the logic or the literal logic behind them both, is that affect affects the emotional movements and effects affects the physical movements. Still movements though. Apply something to you that's going to change the trajectory of the way you walk or the way you do things. So the hyperlove affect, I'm gonna use the word A with it for a specific reason, because let's never forget, I am targeting what you all believe. I am targeting the reason why you stand the way you stand. I am targeting your foundation. I am going to destroy your foundation. What is your foundation? This hyperlove video is going to explain exactly what it is in a few more details. Hyperlove effect, hyperlove. There's going to be a lot of random thoughts thrown into this video as well. Like, for example, how Donald Trump, if he survives, is going to be the first president of the United States to reveal a black Jesus to the world. Just wanted to throw that in there real quick. So meaning, the melanated people, the original melanated people, they're not necessarily too in line with caring for what is going on currently in their office. As long as you all just, well, it was built on hyper hatred though, and that's what I'm getting to in a moment. But what am I ultimately trying to get at though? It appears that you so-called white people are primarily what's against Donald Trump right now. But why is that? I'm going to tell you why with the hyper love idea in a moment. It's also going to equate to why you also see Donald Trump attacking your educational systems, attacking with the DEI and segregation. Random note as well about segregation. If you all set up a 60s environment again, I'm just going to be Huey Newton in the streets. I actually look forward to segregation, because if you give us a 60s playing ground again, yeah, I'm Huey Newton. I'm going to have a Black Panther in every country on this planet. I'm going to have a Black Panther organization or a Black Panther chapter in every country on this planet. My conviction is going to devour you all. Hyper love. What is my conviction? God will have his world. God will have his people moving God's speed forever. Who is God and or what is God? God can simply be labeled and described as hyper love, if you want to. Of course, there's many other things you can label and describe God as, but just for the purpose and the sake of this video, hyper love. God is hyper love. Hyper love. More explanation. So, you see Donald Trump attacking your educational systems. You see Donald Trump attacking your food systems. You see Donald Trump going after these specific things. You want to know why he is? Because he cares for you. Yeah, Donald Trump cares for you all. You believe it or not. Why do I say this though? Think about what's going on. Everything in the world currently, before I even explain the root, everything in the world currently is also having a serious major effect, damaging effect, or effect. They both spelled effect. You can say them both effect. The one spelled with the A is effect, or the one spelled with the E is effect. The A, well, they have an effect and an effect on everything, so it doesn't matter. But here's the reality though. You white people, you so-called white people, especially you over here in America, Your lives are being destroyed by these things just so you can have destruction placed upon our lives, or the image of destruction in our faces, like you're paid homeless individuals. You people have people out here being paid to be homeless just to keep the image of poverty in our faces. Whether you want to believe that's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's just, why are there so many homeless so-called white people? Here's the thing where I'm ultimately getting at. Donald Trump also recognizes how damaging it is to his own kind. Donald Trump also recognizes how damaging all of these things you all are using to keep our lives subjugated is also damaging to you. Remember, the government is trying to play God over our lives, and the true Jesus is a preserver of reality. The true Jesus is the preserver of reality. Double-edged sword, remember? Yeshua had to come with a double-edged sword in a way in order to get his point across, or to get a certain ground across, or to get a certain standard across, or to get a certain reality across. You follow what I'm saying? Like the so-called white people are doing for the devil right now currently. In other words, long story short, the so-called white people, or your bad ones, or at least the ones who are serving the demon, these so-called white people who are serving the demon, what's ultimately going on is that they are ruining their own lives just to ruin ours. Their lives are being ruined to ruin ours. They are ruining their own lives to ruin ours. What am I ultimately getting at it again? Here, when that regards to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is attacking and or getting ready to shut all these things down because they're hurting you, so-called white people. These things are literally killing you all. Do you not hear Donald Trump talking about peace? Can you hear what Donald Trump is saying? Do I advocate for Donald Trump? No. You want to know what I advocate for? Soul principle. So I'm just going to take advantage of a lot of the things he's saying, and I'm just going to say them as well, because they also match with my agenda. Getting all 7 billion melanated people to soul stand at the same time. That's my ultimate agenda right there. 7 billion soul stands. The 7 billion melanated soul stands. That's my ultimate objective. And it appears that this whole segregation act, which will give my conviction marching through the streets a lot more easier chance to execute it, or a lot more of an effective way to execute it. And also too, the simple fact that they'll be out of the way a bit more through segregation. I kind of want that to happen. But then again, I'm thinking of what the actual playing field was in the 60s when there was no integration, just segregation. Y'all can do whatever y'all want, man. However y'all want to do it. For whatever reason you want to do it. I just say, at least see the reason why you're going to do it or why you wish to do it. Notice what Donald Trump is saying, your so-called president. Notice what Donald Trump is doing, your so-called leader. Humanity don't need no leaders, because humanity already got one, the heart of hearts. That's my conviction, like I keep telling you all. Moving forward, more stuff about Donald Trump. I can honestly see what he's getting ready to do from a galaxy away. I can honestly see what Donald Trump is getting ready to do from a galaxy away. I really can. So the thing is, I just want to maybe see what I can do to support it a little bit, because that black Jesus image getting into y'all heads from a white guy, especially if we're in America, that sounds pretty beneficial right now. But we'll see what happens. That's just a prediction right there. And the reason why I connect that as a prediction, because of Vladimir Putin, what he did, and the relation you two share. Piper love. So, what am I ultimately getting at here, though, as far as the white people, or the so-called white people of America, and Donald Trump? What am I ultimately getting at here? The reality is, you all are against him because there is something else moving in him that doesn't want to see you suffer to death anymore, or fail at everything. But see, here's the reality, you so-called white people. Even though you, as a member of the same species I am, even though we're not the same, we're still the same part. We're still a part of the same species. We're just not the same in the same species. Even though this is the case, Reality is, no matter how bad you got it, my part of the species will have it worse. You want to know why? Because you only got anything you got to ensure mine fails at everything and suffers to death. In other words, you so-called white people, everywhere you are, all 2 billion of you on this planet, only have anything that you have because your leadership, way above Donald Trump's pay grade, which is another reason why I'm saying these things out loud, get achieved due to your leadership ensuring the only thing you would have a desire to drive in this world with your hyper-genetically modified selves will be hyper-hatred for black people. Your entire foundational structure, infrastructure, your entire world, your entire underlying basis is built for the hyper-hatred of every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet. You so-called white people is what you have. So, let's take a look at some logic for a moment. What can kill hatred? Love. Okay, so how can you match hyper-hatred with hyper-love? Okay, so you need hyper-love to kill hyper-hatred, right? Or in this case, you need hyper-love to destroy hyper-hatred, the love bomb effect as well. Affect. If I hyper-love every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet as I so desire and so eagerly am craving and desperate to do, which to the point where I'm about to burn your entire world to the grass in order to do this, when this successfully happens, your entire infrastructure is destroyed. All of it is. Your world is built upon the hyper-hatred of all 7 billion melanated people on this planet. Your entire world is built on that one premise and that one idea alone. So just introducing another idea, another effect, will tear it all away in the blink of an eye. But that's just one part of the story, though. The 7 billion soul stance technique. The 7 billion melanated soul stance technique. You want to know what that is in actuality? Home. That's home for me right there. That's of melanated people globally that's been hyper loved so thoroughly and so fulfillingly to the point where their enlightenment or their enlight 10-dimensional mentality has reached its absolute maximum perfection and can rise even higher from there on. Melanated people are astounding in every way possible. I should know because I'm one of them. I ain't have to inject myself or spray myself to become one. I was born like this, which is the reason why these so-called white people have all this hyper-hatred for me, because I was just born like this. Reality is, man, too, as well, just to mention, throw it out there, the only thing that needs to happen to them is stopping them or destroying them. I'm telling you how we destroy them right now. Hyper-loving every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet alone. Don't care if they get jealous. Get jealous. You're the reason why it needs to happen anyways. I don't care what you get for this mission. I don't care how you feel about it at all. You're the reason it's necessary. If I want out of hell, I have to hyper love every single melanated man, woman, and child alive. This is my way out of hell. Destruction of your foundation is getting out of hell. Stopping you, that's home liberation right there. Because stopping you is to ensure this infrastructure cannot be built underneath our feet ever again, or above us. That's why I'm just saying random things out loud, man. Just saying random things out loud. What am I ultimately getting at about Donald Trump and the so-called white people in this country here? Stop going against him. He is only trying to help you. He is literally only trying to help you. Donald Trump has been hit by my love effect, if you haven't noticed it. That's A with an A-F-E-F-E-C-T. A-F-F-E-C-T. That's affect. Donald Trump's been hit by it. In case you haven't noticed it. Nah, my love effect hit Donald Trump harder than that bullet did. That bullet didn't really scar Donald Trump like my love effect is doing. My love effect is tearing you all apart, honestly. And when I say tearing you all apart, I mean destroying your foundation of hyper-hatred. You all stand on a foundation of hyper-hatred, which is the devil's foundation, the devil's entrenchment. God's entrenchment, especially when you know what the word literally defines as, is of hyper love. Long story short, hyper love versus hyper hatred. Hyper love versus hyper hatred. Your world was originally structured on hyper hatred. Donald Trump is being affected by hyper love. Therefore, he is trying to pull you out of certain things and get you away from certain things and pull you out of certain things. From what I'm noticing, is it just the white people it seems like he only cares for? Obviously. But we'll see how the future pans out though, right? We'll see how it pans out. From one person who only cares about one part of the species to another. I can see what you're doing from a galaxy away. Do you see what you're doing? Because everything you're doing is going to contribute to the Father's plan. Ain't going to be no wars. It ain't going to be no wars. Not with this type of energy in the world. The people ain't going to allow it. Because remember, you can only execute your wars through the people. So if the people are hit by this hyper love effect virus, as I plan to hit them with, they're not going to fight. They're only going to love. Because it takes hatred to fight, doesn't it? What happens if hatred is dead? Hyper love, that's the point. That's home. Hyper love. Soul stance. In other words, when I keep saying home and home liberation is the preservation of home. Home liberation is the preservation of home. I'm glad I got the chance to say that. Home liberation is the preservation of home. Remember, they are playing God in every way, so they're even playing the way our true Yahawashi works. Our true Yahawashi preserves the universe itself, keeps all the atoms and the molecules, all that in line, the way he sees it fit to be aligned. That's what our true Yeshua does. The orchestrator of the universe itself. Balance created our reality. Moving forward. So, stopping you now, because we have to preserve home through home liberation. Home liberation. So the title of home, to summarize it, is going to take hyper love to destroy the hyper hatred so that the 7 billion melanated soul stance can take place. 7 billion melanated soul stance. That's home right there. That's my village back to me. I need my village in order to get my power. The 7 billion melanated soul stance. I just wanted to put this in the air. Now, home liberation talk. Now, what the home liberation mean? Because all of that I just said before, within the past virtually 18 minutes now, was been all about what home actually means, what having my village back together actually means. That's home right there. Home is the 7 billion melanated soul stance. That's home right there. The 7 billion melanated soul stance technique. Or the 7 billion soul stance technique. That's home right there. Moving forward. Next. Home liberation. The preservation of home. Home liberation is the preservation of home. What's home liberation going to consist of? Stopping you people from ruining our home. Think about it. You're the one drilling the hatred in. It has to come from somewhere, doesn't it? It ain't coming from us. You want to know what's coming from us, love? I just did all the research to validate it. Love is the only thing in which stems from my species' energy. But here's the thing, though. You people, unfortunately, just by genetic science or doing the research and looking up the information and looking up how RNA and DNA is inside of everything, you pale people are also of the same species I am. We're not the same at all. You are not like me, and you are far from being like me in every way imaginable. Remember, you only stand and operate with hatred. I operate with balance. My balance against your hatred. Love is my highest nature's energy. Balance is my actual nature's energy. And what I am, meaning what I want, desire, nor wish, nor hope for, is simply to go home. Home liberation. And what is home? 7 billion soul stance technique. Or the 7 billion melanated soul stance technique. I have to be specific with the melanated, or should I say the black? No. See, I don't like the word black because the definition known as the words evil and wicked are in one of the definitions of it. That's another reason why I don't like the word black. Remember, all the words we have currently in all 7,130 languages, they all come from the oppressive nature's mouth. They all come from the oppressive nature's agenda. All of our current country names come from the oppressive nature's agenda. All of our current ideologies come from the oppressive nature's agenda. Everything that we are currently and everything that we do and say unto each other, all of the damages that we harbor around and which create the prejudice within our sisters' mind, heart spaces of we. Those all came from the oppressive nature's ideologies. And who embodies the oppressive nature and or who puts the oppressive nature into our world? The devil does. You thought I was going to say the white people? The white people are the same species I am. So naturally, they are not doing it. It is something outside of even them, and which is driving the oppressive nature into our reality. You only need to be stopped and or destroyed. That's it. I know how to destroy your foundation. Hyperlove. Done. Easy. Love bomb. A love nuclear warhead bomb on your hyper hate of my people destroys it. Period. End of story. Moving forward. So how do I stop you? Because I know how to destroy you, so how do I stop you? By putting an end to and or stopping and or rejecting the oppressive nature of the devil. At least that's just a step. Because it's going to require a lot more effort and work after you have done this simple task to move forward to the next one. Because remember, the goal is peace, stopping the oppressive nature, love, destroying the hyper-hate foundation, unity, disbanding, breaking all generational curses, disbanding and or breaking all generational curses, and advancement, the life of immortality with progression, endless progression, endless upwards. You always will get better. Did you notice the King of Kings within our nature and in our power and in our essence? Did you know its way, its nature, its essence is only better for you at all times? I'm talking about a good better, a balanced better, a better than what this world is currently type of better. You all need to stand on the ways of Yahweh Shai, and that's about it there. Stand on and walk in the ways of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yeah, I know, I just said Yahweh, right? Knowing what I'm on Yeshua's grounds, for the record. But I'm like stationary, strongly stuck and planted on them with all of the abilities to stop any and all oppressive natures that may come my way if I had the absolute totalic power to do so as well, which I do not, because I need my God, which is my village, which is the 7 billion melanated people on this planet, soul standing at the same time, soul standing, soul standards, soul principles, soul pride, soul ethics. Spiritual ethnics is how we stop the oppressive nature. Tapping in and or using spiritual ethnics is how we stop the oppressive nature. It's another way we do it. But I need a shorter title for this home liberation. You know, I was actually thinking about what I was going to call the home liberation's code name, but I didn't really have a title for it. So I was going to talk it out and maybe come up with one in the video. That's why I'm just kind of sort of throwing so many random things out here. Spiritual ethnics is how we stop the oppressive nature, and soulful ethics is how we destroy the foundation of hate. But soulful ethics in reality, hyperlove. That's what it is. Hyperlove. It's a hyperlove effect. Hyperbalance effect. If it's a hyperlove affect, then it should be a hyperbalance effect. That's how we can stop the oppressive nature then. Stop and destroy you only. You only need to be stopped and destroyed. But what is causing you to be you? That's what needs to be targeted more than anything. Because you, due to the position you have my people in currently, how separated we are and divided we are. If the 7 billion soul stands took place right now, you wouldn't be able to touch us no matter what you had. This is why it just has to be out here. The 7 billion melanated soul stands The black 7 billion soul stance must be out here. The black 7 billion soul stance. What do I mean by black 7 billion? There's 7 billion black people on the planet right now currently, according to what I've calculated from what you all put online. I just actually did the research on how many people are living on the planet. Turns out it's about 9 billion or 8 billion and some change. But makes no difference. 7 billion of those are us, and the last are you. The oppressive nature's incarnation. You are all the oppressive nature incarnate. I don't want to lie to you ever again. I don't want to lie to you about anything. You all said there are 9 billion people on this planet. When I first started going, there were 8 billion people on this planet. Found out from you all, okay, there was like 8 billion and some change. You all, online search, saw a video with you on it, watched it. Still, it's a lot of people, and they mostly ours. When you look at a person's brown skin, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? He's some kind of different part of the world? No. That there is what you would label and describe as a black man in your country or a darker person in some other country. We have many different names all over the world. Reason why is because we were all entrenched to be separated. We were all told to be this over here and that over here. Did you know there was no religions that existed anywhere at all until 5,000 years ago? Meaning there were no religions at all until just 5,000 years ago recently. Meaning ours. Meaning I'm going to just say it like this. The Nation of Islam is the youngest religion on the list. The youngest religion, 1,400 years. Christianity is 2,000 years old. Then you have, I believe it's called Zoroastrianism, which is 3,000 years old. Then you have Judaism, which is 4,000 years old. Then you have Hinduism, the one that I recommend you all take a stronger look at. Just ignore the white guy, the white Brahma guy. And did you know in reality Lord Vishnu is the strong nuclear force? The word Vishnu means all pervasive. And the word pervasive means what's omnipresent all over the place, everywhere. The strong nuclear force becomes omnipresent due to it being a constituent of the other three interactional forces, meaning the gravitational force, the electromagnetic force, which is spirit, the astral and ether realm combined in one thing, and also the weak nuclear force, or the weak interaction. You follow what I'm saying? Lord Vishnu in reality is the all-pervasive strong nuclear force in which preserves our reality. That's what Lord Vishnu is in reality. And the religion in which Vishnu was taught to us is Hinduism. And Hinduism is a 5,000-year-old religion. 5,000 years old. Meaning there was no Vishnu until 5,000 years ago. There was no Judaism until 4,000 years ago. There was no Zoroastrianism until 3,000 years ago. There was no Christianity until 2,000 years ago. And there was no Nation of Islam until 1,400 years ago. What does that tell you? Did you know we existed way longer than all of these religious beliefs on this planet? 10,000 of them in total have been around. Did you all know that? Meaning, we have no need for these divisive religious beliefs at all. No need. Where do they come from? The mouth of the oppressive nature itself. So meaning if you practice in a religious belief for any reason at all, you're only practicing this religious belief because the oppressive nature told you so. Told you to. Evil is telling you to bow down and do nothing about the world in which is being destroyed all around you. And now I'm looking at all these videos pop up about Ibrahim Traore dealing with these mosque. I hear that he's refusing them as well, doesn't want them in his country. I don't blame you, but are these even true though? What if these are just AI generated videos and just putting stories in our faces just like they did the first time, which got us believing in all these false religions anyways? We don't need any of the religions at all. We don't need any of the names at all. We don't need anything from these people. All of the religions came from them as well. Did you know white people have been in existence now for approximately 6,600 years? I just heard recently that somebody said about 8,000 years. Did you know the so-called black people? That's what they call you, black people, and you accept it. You're so proud of everything they call you and everything they want you to be like. The so-called black people, when I first started studying, I thought it was 6 million years old. That's how old I thought we were, 6 million years old. But then more information rises and more information surfaces about multiple universes that live before ours. Turns out we're trillions of years old. Melanated people are a trillion-year-old species. Was it possible that white people could have existed in the universes before? I mean, think about it. It's a repeat of a universe. Meaning everything that happens in this universe up until right now at this very moment in time happened the exact same, most likely, in a previous universe. But why did it alter? Why did it go differently? Well, because who you all respect as your current Lord God is the reason why it was all destroyed. How do I stop you? How do I stop you? What do I mean when I keep saying you and your world and your space and what you want and your ideas? What do I mean when I say that? Because if the so-called white people are not actually guilty here for being the evil in which they are currently, which is honestly fake evil. You own nothing, you have nothing, you are nothing but the devil's sword. What do I mean when I say you then? Who am I talking to exactly if the white people are just a weapon and or the tool of the devil itself? Who am I talking to when I say your world and what you want? Whenever I say that. And also too, why I tell you, you don't have to watch any of my videos because for one, I'm not talking to any of you at all, but I'm also am talking to you. Actually, I have never said anything to any of you ever. You only even got your damn names because of this damn entity. Meaning you wouldn't even have names if it wasn't for this damn entity. Dang entity. So who am I talking to when I say you? Yahweh. Oh, you crazy, man. Sure. Blasphemous, huh? Okay. Satanic voice. Satanic talking. Well, I do plan on walking through this planet with my conviction to devour everybody in it. Meaning I do plan on just walking this planet randomly and just hyper loving everybody. Something random, for example. Just want to say it and put it in this video. Right now, currently, I'm doing laundry. Yeah, I do laundry. Why did I just randomly mention that? You want to know why I just randomly mentioned the fact that I'm doing laundry? Because it ain't trying to kill nobody. At least not physically. Just gonna make sure it's gonna leave an affect. Remember, affect, spiritual, effect, physical. They're both pronounced effect though, but the affect, spiritual, effect, physical. So what am I ultimately getting at here? How do I stop you? How do I stop you? It seems like the first step would be awareness. Second step would be the reincarnation. Third step will be the resurrection. And then the fourth step, kicking beating you up. Who is you? The devil's entrenchment. This is how I stop you. I stop you because all I can do personally, me personally, with this here vessel that I have in my possession, the main thing I can do now is just share my desires with the world. What do I want, desire, hope, and or wish for? Simply to go home. Home liberation. All I want to do is go home. All I desire is home liberation. All I wish for is my home. And all I hope for is that we succeed in preserving our home through home liberation. And home liberation consists of, there we go, the subjugation of the devil spirit. Home liberation is the subjugation of the devil spirit. That's what I'm gonna call it. So my home title, the home code name will be the 7 billion melanated soul stance, and the home liberations code title will be the subjugation of the devil, the subjugation of the devil spirit, the subjugation of the devil spirit force, the subjugation of the devil's force, the subjugation of the devil's force. That should be it there. So the home liberations code name will be the subjugation of the devil's force. No. Maybe. I'll have to wait and see what you all say if any of you watch this video. Subjugation of the devil. Same thing I've been saying since I've been posting. I'm going to keep telling you the same story over and over again. Why do I want to say it in so many different ways? Because everything in this world is a perversion of this one truth that I keep speaking to you about. The life force is our true government, not this fake one. The life force is our true government, not this fake one. I'm telling you the same thing over and over again. We have a supernatural government built in our DNA and RNA and all of the nucleotides and nucleic acid in which go before it, to the quarks and the quantum and all of those things there, as well as after the quantum, which is the ethereal and the astral and etc., etc. All the same thing hooked up into being one thing, our supernatural life force government itself. And you want to know what our life force is telling us to do? Hyperlove. Without telling you to hyperlove. But instead, you all rather be hypersensitive, like the devil wants you to be. How do I stop you from being hypersensitive? Figure out a way to stop the devil from making you like this. How can I figure out a way to stop the devil from making you like this? I just said it. Figure out a way to stop the devil from making you like this. Well, it would appear that the first step is reawakening. Reawakening to what, though? And what do you mean by reawakening? Coming to the full awareness of who and or what the actual cosmic king of all kings really is, the celestial king of all kings, and how the king of kings is the heart of hearts and the body of bodies and flesh of flesh and bone of bones. King of kings is this things. Think about it. King of kings. King singular of kings plural. Heart singular of hearts plural. Bones singular of bones plural. You follow what I'm saying? Think about that for a second. That can only simply mean that the true Yahweh Shah Yeshua is the essence, nature, and or power of us all, coursing through our veins. You have the power, essence, and or nature of the Almighty God built in you, like a conduit. Why not utilize this natural divine characteristic? It was as it was naturally intended to be utilized. Why not accept the fact that you are astonishing in every way possible to all 7 billion melanated people on this planet? What is it going to take to convince you all that you are this magnificent? I know now. Consume you into my conviction. God will have his world. And who do I see as God? What I left out of this entire video, what I've been meaning to talk about, our subconscious minds, our souls, all of our subconscious minds, everywhere they are on the planet as a collective whole, for human beings, that is of the true God itself. Am I saying that not everyone has a subconscious mind? Everything has a subconscious mind to a degree, or should I say a soul? Everything does. And all of our souls, everywhere in which our soul is, all of them as a collective unit, is the makeup and or the entirety of the true Most High God itself. Believe whatever you want to believe, though, right? Shalom, shalom, shalom. May the power of our hearts guide you in the proper direction in which it built you to be guided in. And what is that direction? What and or how can that direction in which the King of all kings designed his people, how can that direction be labeled and described? With 4 words after this one. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.